Have you ever stopped to feel your breath? Not just notice it, but really feel it. Tonight, I want to tell you a story that's been living inside you all your life. A story that never speaks, but never stops moving. A story of every breath you've ever taken. While the world sleeps, your lungs are quietly working. Your blood is silently moving. And oxygen, the invisible miracle, is keeping you alive. But what is it really doing? Where does it go? Why does your body need it every second without fail? In this hour, we'll slow everything down. We'll follow oxygen's journey from the sky above to the deepest corner of your cells. But before we begin, if you love stories that make you feel, that calm your thoughts, and make science sound like poetry, subscribe now. This isn't just a video, it's an experience. And I'd love for you to be part of this journey again and again. Take a deep breath and let's begin. Have you ever looked up at the sky and thought about what you're really breathing? Not just air, but ancient stories, forgotten winds, fragments of forests that lived before you, and oceans that whispered long before your first cry. The air you breathe right now might have once passed through the lungs of a whale, or danced with the leaves of a Himalayan tree, or floated over the deserts of Africa, before finally finding you. This is the beginning of the story, not of you, but of what makes you alive. Let's go back, not just a few years. Let's go back 3 billion years ago. There was no oxygen in Earth's air. Yes, no breath, no lungs, no you. Back then, the Earth was a silent, boiling world. The sky wasn't blue. It was orange and red with volcanic smoke and thick with gases that would suffocate us in seconds. But then, something miraculous happened. Tiny, invisible organisms, cyanobacteria, began to rise in the oceans. So small, you could fit thousands of them on the tip of a single eyelash. But these tiny beings held a power that would change everything. They began to eat sunlight. Through a process called photosynthesis, they took in carbon dioxide and water and gave out oxygen, pure, clean, invisible oxygen. And for millions of years, they kept doing this silently, patiently, turning the world from poison into breath. Imagine that. The very air you inhale is the result of a slow, invisible act of love by creatures you can't even see. The atmosphere, as we know it, wasn't always ours. It was built, crafted molecule by molecule, by these quiet engineers of life. And now, billions of years later, that oxygen, their gift, surrounds you. But that's only the beginning. Let's zoom in. Right now, in the air around you, only about 21% is oxygen. Just 21%. Yet that tiny fraction is the difference between life and death. It enters your nose, your mouth, with every breath. But before it touches you, it's had a long, beautiful journey. Think of air as an ocean, a floating sea made of particles, waves of molecules that gently swim between people, trees, oceans, and mountains. It moves slowly, constantly, carrying dust, whispers, memories, moisture, and most importantly, oxygen. And not all air is the same. The air above the rainforest is richer, full of life and fragrance. The air near the sea, full of salt, energy, rhythm. And the air of the mountains, thin, crisp, ancient. When you take a breath, you are taking in all of this. The planet, in small, invisible pieces, enters you. Let's pause here. Can you feel it now? That coolness inside your nose? That slight stretch in your lungs? That is the story coming alive inside you. And as oxygen enters you, it doesn't know your name. It doesn't know your face. It just knows what to do: save you, feed you, keep you. But before it reaches your lungs, it first flows through a labyrinth of design. Your nasal cavity, lined with tiny hairs called cilia, each one gently guiding the air in. It's not just a tube, it's a gate. The air gets warmed, moistened, filtered, every time, every breath. Even as you listen right now, your body is working silently, humbly, without complaint, to make sure every particle of air is exactly right. Before it goes deeper, you never asked it to do that, but it does, every time. There's no ego in oxygen, no resistance in breath. It just gives. And maybe that's why we ignore it, because it asks for nothing, so we give it nothing in return. But tonight, you're giving it your attention, and that's enough. Let's go deeper. The air has now passed your nose, and it begins its descent into your trachea, the windpipe. A tube lined not with cold steel, but with soft muscle and flexible rings, protecting and guiding the breath like a velvet tunnel. From there, it splits. Like branches of a tree, it divides into two bronchi, left and right, leading to your lungs, those soft pink clouds inside your chest that never stop moving, like waves on a shore. And this is where the real magic begins. The lungs. If your body were a city, the lungs would be its gardens, alive, peaceful, quietly busy. Each lung contains over 300 million tiny air sacs, called alveoli, so small, so delicate, yet so important. It's inside these alveoli that the exchange happens. Oxygen meets blood, two strangers who instantly understand each other. The walls of the alveoli are thinner than a soap bubble, yet they are strong enough to pass life through them. Here, your red blood cells are waiting. Flowing gently by like gondolas in a canal, they pass near each alveolus, and as oxygen enters, they reach out and hold on. Each red blood cell contains a protein called hemoglobin. You'll meet it soon, in the next part of the story. But for now, just imagine oxygen, invisible and silent, floating into the lungs, meeting a red cell and saying, "Take me, carry me." And the red cell whispers back, "I was made for this. Let's breathe again, slowly. Inhale, exhale." There it is again. The invisible becoming real, the gift being received, the story being written, and you, the listener, the dreamer, the breather, you are the living page where it's being told. A journey from the womb to the first breath, a moment so silent, yet so powerful. Before there was a cry, before there was a heartbeat the world could hear, before your name was ever spoken aloud, there was silence. Inside the warm, dark ocean of your mother's womb, you were not breathing, not with your lungs. You floated, curled like a secret, surrounded by the soft pulse of a borrowed life. Your oxygen came from her, through a single cord, a thread of mercy, a rope between two worlds. She breathed for you. She moved for you. She lived for both of you. For 9 months, your lungs stayed asleep, like two quiet dreams tucked inside your chest, forming, shaping, waiting. And then it happened. You were born. Suddenly, you left that ocean. The warmth disappeared. The light arrived. And for the first time in your life, you were alone with the air. That first breath wasn't just a reflex. It was a decision, a moment of truth. The cold air rushed toward your tiny nose and mouth. Your chest opened, and your lungs, for the very first time, woke up. Imagine that moment, the lungs unfolding like a flower opening to the sun. air entering tissue that had never felt it before. Oxygen flooding into your blood like light breaking through a cave. In that one instant, your body changed forever. Your blood switched direction. Your heart changed its pattern. Your brain registered a new world. And your soul perhaps whispered, "I am here." That first cry you made, it wasn't pain, it wasn't sadness, it was victory. Your announcement to the world, "I breathe, I live." But what happened inside was even more beautiful. As oxygen entered your lungs, it touched millions of alveoli, those tiny air sacs you met in part 1. They opened like stars in the night sky, ready to catch this new, invisible miracle. Before birth, they were collapsed. Now, they were stretched open, hugging the air, accepting the gift of breath. Your red blood cells rushed forward, hemoglobin reached out, and for the first time, the dance began. Oxygen and blood, a love story written in molecules. It's strange, isn't it? We take thousands of breaths every single day, yet we only remember one, the first. And that one is the beginning of every moment that followed. Your first laugh, your first steps, your first word, all of it, because you breathed. But let's pause for a moment. Let's rewind, because even before that first breath, your body had prepared something extraordinary, a backup plan, a switch. You see, inside your fetal body, the circulatory system was set up to bypass the lungs, because they weren't needed yet. But when the first breath came, pressure shifted, valves closed, new pathways opened, the lungs became the center of life. Within minutes of your birth, your entire circulatory system changed, completely. No instruction manual, no external command, just instinct, just design, just divine programming. And from that moment on, you were on your own. Every breath, yours. Every heartbeat, yours. Every cell waiting for oxygen, yours to serve. Let's breathe together now, gently, slowly, just like that very first time. Inhale, exhale. Feel it? You're still doing it, still living out that first promise, still receiving the air of this world like it's the very first time. And in many ways, it is. Because no two breaths are ever the same. Each one carries a slightly different temperature, a slightly different pressure, a slightly different chemistry. The air of a hospital room, the air of your first day at school, the air of a heartbreak, the air of standing under the stars, wondering who you are. Your breath remembers, even if you don't. Let's go even deeper. Scientists have discovered something amazing. Right after birth, the newborn brain, your brain, experienced a storm of activity, like fireworks behind your closed eyes. It wasn't just the world entering your lungs. It was entering your mind, too. That first oxygen rush didn't just wake up your body. It activated your thoughts. It lit up your neurons. It opened the gate to memory, awareness, and consciousness. Some even believe that the soul fully enters the body with the first breath, that this is the moment you stop being part of someone else and truly become you. Doesn't that make it sacred? Let's go microscopic now. Inside your lungs at birth, surfactant, a slippery, soapy substance, coated the alveoli, preventing them from collapsing. It's produced just before delivery, like a last-minute miracle. Without it, breathing would be impossible. It's as if the body knows. You're going to need help. Let me prepare you. That surfactant is still helping you today. Every time you breathe, it keeps your lungs open. Software flexible, quiet. Even now, as you lie back and listen, that same miracle is happening over and over again. Let's come back to the present. You may not remember your first breath, but your body does. Your lungs do. Your blood does. They've been repeating that moment ever since, millions of times without asking for your attention. But tonight, you gave it. And that is a kind of gratitude. You've taken a breath. The air has entered your nose, softly, silently. But what's really inside that breath? You might say oxygen, and that would be partly true. But the truth is far more beautiful and strange. Each time you inhale, you're not pulling in a single gas, but a mix, a blend crafted by nature across centuries. Your breath contains oxygen, yes, about 21%, but also nitrogen, the calm, quiet giant making up most of the air. A touch of carbon dioxide, tiny traces of argon, neon, and other noble gases. And sometimes, even the perfume of a flower a mile away, or the ashes of a volcano that erupted on the other side of the world. Your breath is not just survival. It's a story, a memory of the earth. But let's follow one molecule, just one. Let's name it oxy. Let's see where oxy goes. Oxy floats in the air around you. You breathe in gently. Air rushes into your nostrils. And oxy, weightless and invisible, is pulled in. The inside of your nose is not just a tunnel. It's alive, moist, warm, and wise. Tiny hairs called cilia sway back and forth, like guards at a sacred gate, filtering out dust, pollen, and invaders. The air is warmed to match your body temperature. Moisture is added, so the dry wind of the outside world doesn't hurt the inside of your lungs. Oxy passes through this quiet hallway, blessed by biology at every step, and then it flows into the pharynx, a shared path for food and air, a silent crossroad inside your throat. From there, oxy moves into the larynx, past your vocal cords, those delicate strings that can sing love, scream rage, or whisper prayer, and finally into the trachea, the windpipe, a hollow, flexible tube that stands like a pillar of breath inside your neck. Its walls are lined with more cilia, and rings of cartilage keep it open, never collapsing, never closing, ready for every breath. As oxy continues down this path, the road begins to divide. The trachea splits into two bronchi, left and right, one for each lung. These bronchi are not hard tubes. They branch like trees, splitting again and again into bronchioles, smaller and smaller passageways, delicate and precise, until they reach the final destination, the alveoli, tiny balloon-like air sacs, more than 300 million of them floating inside your lungs like stars in a galaxy. If you stretched them all out, they'd cover an entire tennis court. And inside these alveoli, oxy waits. Because this is where everything changes. Let's pause. Let's imagine the moment. Oxy is hovering inside an alveolus, just a few atoms wide, surrounded by warm, wet walls, and just on the other side, a capillary, a blood vessel, thin as silk, flowing with red blood cells. And one of them is ready to carry oxy, ready to love it. This is the magic point, the diffusion, where molecules move from more to less, where gas becomes gift. Oxy floats through the alveolar wall, thin, delicate, and miraculous, into the blood. No force, no struggle, just flow. Inside the capillary, a red blood cell drifts near. Inside it is hemoglobin, a protein made for one purpose, to carry oxygen. One hemoglobin molecule has 4 iron atoms, and each one can hold 1 oxygen molecule, like arms opening for an embrace. Oxy meets hemoglobin, They lock together. A perfect fit. A soft click, like a key in a lock. And in that moment, a new journey begins. Now oxy is no longer a free molecule in the air. Now it is part of the bloodstream. Now it will be carried to every corner of the body. The brain, the heart, the muscles, even the tips of your toes. But that's another chapter. For now, let's honor what just happened, because this silent transfer happens every second of your life, with every breath. Thousands of oxygens, millions per minute, billions per day. And you never notice. But tonight, you did. And that makes all the difference. Let's zoom out. Both lungs together perform this magic dance all day long. You inhale about 22,000 times a day. Each inhale brings in oxygen. Each exhale lets out carbon dioxide. A perfect balance. A rhythm of giving and releasing. A cycle as old as life itself. And your lungs are not just two sacs of air. They are covered in nerves, connected to your brain, constantly adjusting to your mood, your posture, your need. When you run, they open up. When you sleep, they soften. When you cry, they catch your breath. When you sigh, they release your heart. Your lungs listen to you. They feel you. They adapt to you without needing to be told. Can you love something that never asks to be loved? Can you be grateful to something you never even see? Maybe tonight, you can. Let's go back to oxy. Now that it's bound to hemoglobin, it's part of your blood, part of you. Soon it will travel through your heart, pumped with strength and purpose, sent to the places in your body that need it most. But oxy doesn't complain. It doesn't choose. It might go to your brain to fuel a thought. It might go to your eyes to help you see beauty. It might go to your hands so you can hold the hand of someone you love. Wherever it goes with devotion, and when its job is done, it steps back, lets carbon dioxide take its place, and waits to be exhaled. What a journey, from the air around you to the blood inside you. Oxy becomes life, not just air, not just gas, but the spark that lets you think, move, dream, heal, grow, rest, remember, and yet, it never asks to be thanked. So tonight, let's thank it, silently, just in our hearts. Thank you, oxygen, for every breath we never noticed. Let's breathe one more time, deeply, softly. Inhale, exhale, and remember, this story is still unfolding right now inside you, and we're only halfway through. Let's imagine love, but not the kind you read in novels, not the kind you whisper under stars. Let's talk about the kind of love that happens inside your blood. This isn't metaphor. This is chemistry. This is hemoglobin, the most faithful carrier in your entire body. Let's go back to oxy. Our little oxygen molecule you've been following since the moment it entered your breath. It's made its way into the lungs, passed through the alveolar walls, and now it's floating inside a capillary, searching for something, someone, a match. And then it sees it, a red blood cell, soft, round, flowing with the current. Inside that cell is something waiting, open, ready, designed for oxy. This is hemoglobin, a beautiful protein made of 4 subunits, each with a heart of iron. Yes, iron. The very same element found in the core of the earth is now at the core of your life. And each of those iron atoms can bind to 1 oxygen. 4 arms, ready to hold 4 oxy molecules, like a warm embrace. But here's the miracle. Hemoglobin doesn't just grab oxygen. It knows when to hold it, and it knows when to let go. This is not blind chemistry. This is wisdom. In the lungs, where the oxygen level is high, hemoglobin says, "Come to me." It binds tightly, securely. But as the red blood cell flows away from the lungs and into the body, into places where oxygen is needed, the story changes. The environment shifts, temperature rises, carbon dioxide increases, the pH lowers slightly. It's a signal, and hemoglobin understands. Now it's time, and it releases oxygen, gently, exactly where it's needed, like a messenger who travels through mountains and storms, not to keep the message, but to deliver it. That's what hemoglobin does, thousands of times per second, inside you, right now. But here's what makes it even more beautiful. Hemoglobin's bond with oxygen isn't random, it's cooperative. Meaning, when one oxygen binds, it makes it easier for the next to bind. And when one lets go, the others start letting go too. It's like a team, working in perfect harmony. Each decision affects the rest. There's trust in this process. There's unity. This is the science of surrender. And it never takes more than it should. Hemoglobin never hoards, never clings. It gives when it must, and only holds on when it helps. What would our relationships look like if we lived like hemoglobin? Hold when it heals. Release when it's right. Hemoglobin doesn't just serve oxygen, it also plays a role in carrying carbon dioxide back to the lungs. Another round of service. It's not just a one-way love, it's a cycle. Take what the body needs, give what the body must release. Its balance, its rhythm, its loyalty. And where is all this happening? Inside your bloodstream. The rivers of life that flow without end. One single red blood cell makes a full journey through your body in about 60 seconds, carrying oxygen, dropping it off, picking up carbon dioxide, returning home. And inside that single red blood cell, hundreds of millions of hemoglobin molecules, each one working quietly, faithfully, without praise, without rest. Let's breathe together now, gently. Inhale, exhale. As you do, hemoglobin responds. Your body adjusts in real time, without you asking, without you even knowing. The next time you feel tired, remember this. Your cells are working for you. Your hemoglobin is holding life itself, just for you. Every moment. You're never empty. You're always in motion, always supported, always loved. Let's zoom out just for a moment. Do you know why your blood is red? It's because of hemoglobin. The iron at its core binds with oxygen and creates a deep, rich red color, the color of life, the color of sacrifice, the color of you. When it's oxygenated, it's bright red. When it has let go of oxygen, it becomes darker, deeper, still beautiful, just in a different phase of the journey. Even your color tells a story. So the next time you look at a drop of your own blood, see more than just a red stain. See travelers, carriers, silent lovers of your life. See the dance of oxygen and hemoglobin, a bond made not of words, but of purpose. And perhaps that's the purest kind of love. Let's close your eyes for a moment. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the rise, the fall. Somewhere inside, hemoglobin is at work, unseen, untouched, uncelebrated, but not tonight. Tonight, you noticed, and that makes all the difference. Let's return to oxy, the little oxygen molecule we've followed since the beginning. It's now holding tightly to hemoglobin, riding inside a red blood cell, floating in your bloodstream like a boat on a river. But this isn't just any river. This is you, the highways, back roads, and quiet canals of your living body. And now, it's time to deliver. Your heart pumps, not loudly, not violently, but with precision, like a drummer in perfect time. Each beat sends blood rushing forward. And in that blood, oxy travels. From the lungs, blood enters the left side of the heart. Then it's pushed out through the aorta, the biggest, strongest artery in your entire body, as wide as a garden hose, but lined with wisdom. From there, the journey begins. The arteries branch out, big into medium, medium into small, until they become almost invisible. So thin, they can only fit blood cells in single file. These are your capillaries, and this is where the magic happens. Imagine a neighborhood at night. House is quiet, lights low, and a delivery van rolls in. Inside each house, someone is waiting. A tired parent, a child, an elder, a newborn. They don't shout, they don't rush, they just wait silently, patiently, because they trust the delivery will come. Your cells are like those houses. Each one lives its own little life, working, building, repairing. But they can't do any of it without one thing, oxygen. So they wait, and now, oxy has arrived. The red blood cell floats up beside a capillary wall. The hemoglobin senses the change. Less oxygen in the surrounding tissue, more carbon dioxide building up. It knows what to do. Hemoglobin lets go. Oxy is released, and just like that, oxy slips through the capillary wall into the interstitial fluid, the watery space between blood and cells, and then finally into the cell itself. No noise, no flash, just purpose. And inside that cell, deep in the cytoplasm, are mitochondria, tiny ancient structures passed down from the beginning of life. They wait for oxygen like engines wait for fuel. And when oxy arrives, they light up. Let's pause here, because this part is extraordinary. Your mitochondria are not just little powerhouses. They are your body's quiet fire, burning calories, releasing energy, keeping you warm, alert, alive. When oxygen reaches them, it enters the final act of its journey, cellular respiration. It helps turn glucose, sugar from your food, into ATP, the energy currency of your body. Every thought, every blink, every step you take, every dream you remember in the morning, all of it depends on this exchange. And it begins with this moment. Oxygen inside a single cell feeding the fire. But here's something even more beautiful. There are 37 trillion cells in your body. Every second, millions of oxygen molecules are being delivered, quietly, faithfully, to wherever they're needed. Some go to the brain, to help you think, remember, imagine. Some go to the heart, to fuel the endless pumping. Some to the muscles, to help you stretch, move, or simply sit. And some even go to the skin, to keep you glowing, healing, living. And each cell is different. Some need more oxygen, some need less. Some are in pain, some are growing, some are repairing damage, some are building something new. But no matter the reason, the body delivers. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't judge. It just gives. Let's breathe together again. Slow, gentle, peaceful. Inhale, exhale. And while you do that, thousands of oxygen molecules are completing this journey. From sky, to lungs, to blood, to cells, to life. You are not doing nothing. You are hosting a miracle. There's something else. Once oxygen is used inside the mitochondria, a new molecule is born, carbon dioxide. CO2 is the breath's quiet shadow, the result of life happening. The cell no longer needs it. So it releases it. CO2 leaves the cell, moves back through the fluid, enters the capillary, and rides the bloodstream, this time back to the lungs, to be exhaled. And that's the cycle, not just of oxygen, but of giving and releasing, taking what is needed, letting go of what no longer serves. Even your breath understands this wisdom. Now let's return to Oxy just before it entered the cell. Can you imagine what it felt like? Not in the way humans feel, but in the way meaning feels. It traveled across galaxies of arteries, held tightly by a protein built only for it, guided through pressure, chemistry, and time, all just to serve a single cell. A purpose fulfilled, a mission completed, a story closed, and then it disappears, used, transformed, and released. Maybe life is like that too. We come in, carried by love, moved by unknown currents, called to something deep and quiet. And then, when we've done what we were made to do, we let go. Let's end with this. You don't have to think to make this happen. You don't have to plan, control, or supervise. Your body does it all for you, out of design, out of instinct, out of mercy. So maybe tonight, as you lie down and drift into sleep, you'll remember, you are not alone. Inside you, life is being delivered, love is being lived, and breath is being honored. Final deep breath. Inhale, exhale, and just smile, because now you know every breath you take is not just air, it's a promise, a journey, a gift, fulfilled. We've followed oxygen from the sky above into the depth of your lungs, then into your blood, and finally, into every cell of your body. It gave what it came to give. And now, a new story begins, a story of letting go. Because with every breath in, there must be a breath out, and with every gift received, something must be released. That something is carbon dioxide, CO2. But don't be fooled, this isn't just a waste gas. It's a part of the cycle, a mirror of the breath you took in, a message from your body that the work has been done. Let's go back to your cells. Oxy has fed the mitochondria. The fire has burned, energy has been made, and now there's something left behind, like the soft ashes after a warm fire. That ash is CO2. It's not angry, it's not dirty, it's simply done. The cell lets it go, releasing it back into the interstitial fluid, where it gently drifts into a nearby capillary. There, red blood cells pick it up, not with hemoglobin's iron arms, but with open hands, ready to carry what needs to go. Some CO2 binds to hemoglobin, some dissolves into the plasma. Most of it transforms into a new form, bicarbonate, so it can travel safely through the bloodstream. Smart, isn't it? Even your waste is carried with care. This journey is just as important as the one oxygen took, because if carbon dioxide stays too long, your blood becomes acidic, your body slows down, your brain feels dizzy, everything goes out of balance. So your body works fast, smooth, silent, sure. The CO2-filled blood flows toward the heart, enters the right side this time, and is pumped straight to the lungs. And when it reaches the alveoli, it prepares to leave. Now, you're ready to exhale? It seems like such a simple act. Air going out. But it's more than that. It's a moment of release, of surrender, of trust. When you breathe out, you're saying, I've taken what I needed, and now I let go. Think about that. How many things in life do we hold on to for too long? Memories that ache, words we never said, stress, shame, guilt. But your breath, it knows the truth. It takes what it needs, and it lets the rest go. Every few seconds, it reminds you, gently, quietly, you don't have to hold everything forever. The breath out is as sacred as the breath in. In fact, in many languages, the word for spirit or soul comes from the same root as the word for breath. Because when you exhale, you release not just air, but emotion, memory, and energy. A sigh, a whisper, a prayer, they all ride the same wind. Let's return to the lungs. CO2 moves from the blood into the alveoli, those tiny air sacs we met before, and with your next exhale, it leaves. Back into the air, back into the world. And maybe back to a tree nearby who will take it in as food. Yes, trees love CO2. It's what they need for photosynthesis. So in a way, what you let go becomes someone else's breath in. Isn't that beautiful? Even your release feeds life. Let's try something now. A simple breath. Inhale gently. Hold for a moment. And now, exhale. Slowly. Feel that? That was letting go. That was carbon dioxide whispering goodbye. That was your body saying, I've done enough. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, when your heart is heavy, when your mind is full, just breathe and remember, you are allowed to let go. You are designed for it. It's in your lungs. It's in your rhythm. It's in your nature. Carbon dioxide isn't a villain. It's not the end of the story. It's the other half. Without it, the breath would be incomplete. Without it, the balance would be broken. So honor it. Honor the work your body does. Not just to take in life, but to release what no longer belongs. That is wisdom. That is mercy. That is breath. You've been breathing your whole life. Every moment, every second, air comes in. Air goes out. But somewhere along the way, you stopped noticing. And maybe that's not your fault. Life got louder, faster, busier. You were pulled into school, work, heartbreak, noise, scrolling, chasing, surviving. So much around you, so little within you. And the breath, that soft, sacred rhythm, faded into the background. You didn't mean to ignore it. You just forgot. Forgot that inside your chest is a miracle repeating itself thousands of times a day. Forgot that breath is the one thing you've done since the moment you were born, and the last thing you'll do before you leave. We get used to it. And what we get used to, we stop honoring. But here's the gentle truth. Just because you don't notice doesn't mean it stops mattering. Your lungs still open. Your heart still beats. Your cells still receive. Your body still believes. You're worth keeping alive. Even when you don't think about it. Even when you forget to say thank you. But imagine, what if you noticed again? Just once a day. Just for a moment. What if you paused and actually felt your breath? What if you remembered that you are being kept alive by something so small, so silent, so kind? You don't have to control it. You don't have to earn it. You just receive. That is breath. That is grace. And maybe that's the danger. When something is always there, we think it always will be. We only notice the breath when it's gone, when it's short, when it hurts, when we're gasping, when we're crying, when we're running out. But not tonight. Tonight, you noticed, you slowed down, you listened, you honored the air, and in doing that, you remembered something deeper. You're not just surviving, you're alive. Take a breath right now, slowly, softly, gently, Did you feel it? The air moved in without force, without permission, without cost. It just came, like a guest that always shows up, even when you forget to open the door. That's what breath is. A quiet companion, a loyal friend, always there, until one day it's not. So tonight, just for a moment, let's not take it for granted. Let's thank the lungs that never complained. Let's thank the heart that kept sending breath to every corner of you. Let's thank the red blood cells that carried life like a love letter. Let's thank oxygen for showing up and for always leaving at exactly the right time. Because breath teaches us something we often forget. Life is not about holding on forever. It's about receiving what's meant for us and then letting it go. Inhale, receive the moment. Exhale, release what's no longer needed. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. You've done this since birth, and you'll keep doing it until your very last moment. And maybe, when that final breath comes, it will whisper to your soul, "Thank you for noticing me, because tonight you did." If this story moved you, take one last deep breath. And if you feel peace in your chest, hit the subscribe button so we can breathe together again in the next story. Good night.